Boa tarde. Obrigado por direm. É enorme placer estar aqui. And that's all that I can speak in Portuguese. I'm really sorry. I admire three things from Portugal and Portuguese particularly. First of all, it's your easiness for languages. You speak perfect English. Most of you speak Spanish. We don't. Second thing that I admire is your bravery. You're a very brave country. And the third thing that I admire is one of your best sportsmen, which shows also this bravery. And he has sent me a message just before the event, and I'm going to replay this message for you, okay?
Amigos, aproveitamos este grande momento como a equipa da Veridas. Aqui só se marcam golos contra a fraude. Siu!
It's our beloved Cristiano sending his warm regards. And, this is a reality today. We have Cristiano or it's not Cristiano. We don't know, right? This is the reality that we are facing. And this is precisely one of the key aspects that we will be talking this afternoon. I'm Eduardo Azanza. I'm founder and CEO of Veritas. We started the company 13 years ago, and we started fighting against fraud in the physical space with the companies that prints money, like Banco Portugal. Casa de Moneda here in Lisbon was one of our first customers, and the companies that prints ID documents. But 10 years ago, we had the luck, I would say, to meet crossroads with a large bank in Spain called BBVA, and they placed a challenge to us. We, in our digital transformation, and I'm talking 10 years ago, they told us we need three things. We need a data platform, we need a cloud development platform, and we need an identity platform. If we don't know who's at the other side of the screen, if we don't know who's at the other side of the telephone line, we don't have a real digital transformation. We have a fake digital transformation. And this vision, which was 10 years ago, today is the biggest reality. What we are seeing now is this big fraud, this big deep fake thing. But if you want to have a real digital transformation, you need to have trust in the person who's behind. Okay, so that was our starting point. Fast forwarding 10 years later, we are 250 people. Our main headquarters is in Pamplona, north of Spain, very close to San Sebastian, to the French border. We have offices here in Portugal. In Mexico, we have 22 people. In Boston, 5 people. Brazil, 2 people. Argentina and Chile. Italy, the Netherlands, and the UK. This is our footprint currently. We operate with over 300 customers across the globe. And here, we'd like to say that we build technology. Everything that we are going to show today and talk to you is something that we are building here in Iberia. This is Iberian technology. So this is technology that we can and we have developed and we are deploying around the world. So moving forward, which is our mission? Using one of our icons. This was this very week. Rafa Nadal talking about his identity supplantation. His identity has been supplanted to speak on his behalf, right? And I just circling and highlighting what he's saying. As a society, we face the challenge of learning to distinguish between what is real and what is manipulated. This is exactly Veritas' mission. Our mission as a company is to tell apart between a real and a fake identity, and doing it in an ethical and responsible use of technology. That's the way we've ever always developed our technology and deployed our technology. I would say, one of the first companies in the world to have analyzed our AI algorithms under an ethical prism. And this was done by PwC a couple of years ago, right? So we are fully aligned with our beloved and great Rafa about what he's suffering. But this is just now. This is happening. The identity supplantation, okay? Which is the landscape? We had a pandemic back in 2020. Now we have the fraud pandemic. And the AI fraud pandemic is coming, and we know it from the AI synthetic generated content and media. I would say that 2 years ago, it was kind of easy to create a synthetic face, a synthetic voice, a synthetic document. Today is 15 seconds. The word deepfake, we learned that word in 2017. But the problem that we have today is that the fraud has been democratized. Anyone can make fraud. So this is a pandemic. This is a pandemic. Before it was a small disease, now it's a pandemic. Anyone can be a fraudster. Okay? So this is something, this is the reality. Over 93% of cybersecurity attacks are identity related. These are reports from CyberArk, right? So identity is the perimeter that we have to cover now. That's key. Eh? So generative AI has made all legacy OCR plus selfie solutions obsolete. Okay? So, of course, this creates the need to protect and to drive business at the same time, because all the companies that are here, you have the huge challenge of being digitally native to attract customers, to serve it better. But we have the challenge to know who's behind. I was talking to your colleague from Teleperformance. Okay, I want to serve my customers better. I want to provide a better service. We as a company, or they as a company, want to save money or make it more efficient and prevent fraud. Okay, let's use face biometrics, but not only for the customers, even for the workers of the company. They have 500,000 people in the world. 1/3 of them working at home. Who's really providing the service? Is the one that I've trained? Is the one that I'm paying the salary or not? So this is challenges, identity challenges happen everywhere, right? So this is what we are suffering now, the AI field for pandemic. We have also a global regulatory flow, which is a business driver, okay? We have new mandates in banking, in crypto, in gaming, in telco, particularly in Portugal too. You have some regulations that are allowing and permitting to do digital business, okay? And we have also the new EU regulation for digital identity, okay? And the third leg is, I would say, the self-sovereign identity, the wallet, the EU wallet, tsunami. In 2 years' time, in November 2027, every single bank, every single telco, every single large company in the European Union have to admit identity wallets. Right? This is happening in 2 years' time. We are ready. We do have the solutions to go together with you to be able to accept this type of credentials, which is a game changer for the identity as we know it. But this is happening. This is in 2 years' time, November is on. So if it's in 2 years' time, we have to start working yesterday. Okay? So this is the landscape. And here I'm rephrasing Vítor Bento, the presidente de la Asociación Portuguesa de Bancos, that said just 1 week ago, I think, os principais tipos de fraude nos pagamentos, com destaque para phishing, spoofing e usurpação de identidade. Okay? These are reality. So identity and trusted identity, or real identity as we like to say it, because we know to assure the identity of a person, there are only 3 ways in a digital channel. Something that you know, a password, it's a common way to assess the identity. Something that you have, a coordinate card, a mobile device, right? Something that you have, or something that you are, okay? The only factor that can assure the real identity of a person is something that you are. You know that we have PSD2 payment regulation in Europe, and PSD2 says, okay, you have to use 2 out of these 3. You can combine something that you are, something that you have, something that you know, 2 out of 3. We always like to say, perfect. But if you don't use at least something that you are, you don't know who's behind. So we like to say that something that you know, the password, something that you have, a device, is presumed identity. It's not real identity. The only way to know that is the real person is using biometrics, something that you are. Okay. So for us, the trusted identity is a lever for growth, okay? To acquire more customers, to grow revenue securely, to retain the customers because you are providing them better services. When I ring my mother, I don't have to say her a password. She recognizes me by the voice. Or when I go to the bakery, the baker knows my face. And he can give me the bread and I will pay, buy now, pay later. This is something that has happened for ages. If they know you, if I have trust in who's behind, I can provide you better business and better service, okay? And protect every journey, okay? Of course, the best example that we like to show here is the journey that we have done with BBVA because it was the very first, okay? We have similar journeys with other banks. We have more than 25 banks everywhere, from Scotiabank in Mexico, Santander in many places, Banco Afirme, BPI here, Banca Popular de Milan. So we have several banks in Argentina, in Colombia, in Brazil, right? But here, look at the staggering numbers that we see here. This is what you see here. It's the number of new customers per year. So in just 6 years, we've helped BBVA to make more than 50 million new customers. So we are in every single acquisition channel, but not only that, it's just open an account with a selfie. In Mexico, we are providing proof of life with a voice. You don't need to go to the bank, to a physical branch to prove that you are alive, to have your pension. In BBVA Italy, they don't have any branch in Italy. It's pure digital bank, so all the customer acquisition goes with us. There are a lot of security journeys that we are running also. So they are using also identity and biometrics for security journeys to make sure, because your branch is your device. So if you change your device, you have to make sure that the right person is accessing your branch, right? So identity is the backbone of the digital business. If you don't have a solution for your identity, you are messing your digital business because you don't know how much fraud you have. And I bet that any one of the companies that are here have between 1% and 5% of identity fraud. Between 1% and 5%. Okay? Some use cases. So what we can do with the technologies that Veritas delivers. We can do digital onboarding, acquire new customers. A couple of examples from Scotiabank in Mexico or Catalan Occidente, which is an insurance company in Spain. But again, more than 25 countries use our technology, scanning your ID, doing your selfie, checking the liveness of the person with certified solutions. Second case, buy now, pay later. We've just launched with Open Bank and Amazon the consumer finance just within Amazon together with Open Bank. Soft token enrollment, one of the security journeys that I was mentioning before, not only for customer acquisition, but for customer servicing and for security journeys. Other industries like telcos, Telcel, América Móvil, one of the largest telecommunication companies in the world, they've been trusting us for 4 years. So they are using several things, new customers, onboarding, but also delivering. When they deliver a terminal to the customer house, they make sure that is the person that signed the contract, the one that is receiving the terminal, with just a selfie. So you know the levels of fraud that we see in Latin America and Mexico. So they want to make sure that is the person that signed the contract, the one that receives the device at home, right? Or contact center authentication with Mutua Madrileña, one of the largest insurance companies in Spain, just directly integrated into Genesis. So those are, 5 different use cases that maybe some of you would like to resemble, but they are in large operation globally. Okay, all these are served in AWS and Google Cloud everywhere, right? With all the certifications, ISO 27000 and all the security features. Okay? So the fraud is not only in the digital channels, and this is important. When we started to work with banks back in 2017, we realized that existing channels, the physical channels, they had existing fraud. I like to show this always because this is from May the 7th, 2018. This is our old logo, and this is a technology that we deliver to banks to spot duplicate identities. There was like an example 7 years ago of a very large Spanish bank, could be any. Out of 8,000 customers from Ghana, 1,200 were duplicates in physical branches. This is in every single one of the companies that are here and governments. Okay, whenever you have something that you can get with a duplicate identity, you already have it. So we have technologies to spot and to detect that. And between 1% and 5% of fraud of multiple fake identities. And also in the customer acquisition, we are seeing, since this fraud pandemic, that 3% of digital customer registrations are advanced injection attacks. And the injection attack, what is that? What is an injection attack? Let's see. We'd say that it's very easy to create a deepfake, 15 seconds. So you can just take a picture of yourself and you ask Gemini or ChatGPT and you can create easily a video, selfie, 15 seconds. But once you have this fake voice, fake face, or fake video, you have to get this into the system. And this is the difficult part. This is the difficult part if you are working or you are facing a proper technology in front of you. If you have a very basic technology, then you have fraud. So which are the two channels to get these fakes in? The first one is presentation attack. So I do a fake video or a fake photo, and I show it, okay, to the camera. So I try to spoof the system, just showing. So this is presentation attack. Or I make a mask, okay? This is presentation attack. How we protect against those? We have certified technologies according to the ISO 3107, certified by an accredited laboratory to the top levels in terms of security. That is the protection that we provide to the customers to this presentation attack. That's first vector of attack. Second vector of attack is injection, the one that I was mentioning before. Injection meaning I created a fake of my face, and now it's a cybersecurity attack. I'm injecting that in the way of ones and zeros, right? At the front end, at the back end, or in the communication channel. Okay? So in this case, I'm not presenting the evidence. I'm attacking the system from the cybersecurity point of view. And in this case, it's very important that you rely on companies that have an end-to-end solution. Because the cybersecurity protection is not just a single point solution. You have to be protected from the front end, in the channel, and in the back end. That's why we, as 100% owners of the technology, we protect the whole channel against also injection attacks. So it's not only about the fake, it's about the way you put the fake in, right? So we are suffering a pandemic, but we have the vaccine, okay? And the vaccine develops because the virus also develops. So this is a constant evolution of the vaccine against the fraud, okay? Other type of frauds, document fraud, still identity document still represents the vast majority of current fraud attacks, from photocopies, polycarbonates, screen attacks. Those are real cases, and face and voice biometric fraud. Okay? So we are seeing all of them. We are spotting. We are playing in the most difficult places in terms of fraud. We are playing in Mexico since 2018. Colombia, Italy has a lot of fraud that we are spotting every single day. Right? So we are constantly preparing and fighting against it. Okay. Regulatory realities. Of course, we have the framework in Europe, and we have EIDAS currently, EIDAS 2.0, which is coming, which is related to the new digital identity wallets. The MiCA regulation for crypto actives, okay? So the crypto actives are no longer open space. It's not the wild, wild west. So crypto active players have to comply with the regulation like the regular banks, as it needs to be, right? We have DORA, we have, of course, GDPR in terms of data protection, PSD3, the new payment directive in Europe, and the AI Act. The AI Act, which is the European regulation for artificial intelligence, is very clear in terms of biometrics. Because some people say, oh, what's happening with biometrics? Are we allowed to use biometrics under the European Union AI Act? The answer is a big yes. Let me explain you. A knife, I can use it to cut cheese or to stab a person, right? So in the European Union have made an assessment of the technologies. And they say, if you want to use biometrics to do surveillance of your population in the streets, if you want to control your people with cameras in the street, this is not allowed in the European Union, right? They will control us with their phones or with other things anyway. But they say, you cannot use biometrics in open spaces, in remote, let's say remote access without the voluntary action of the person. What happens when we use biometrics in close with voluntary action of the person, okay? With voluntary consent in close distance. So you know that you are participating with your consent. The European Union, the European Union AI Act says that is low or zero risk. This is what the EU AI Act says, okay? We have the European Accessibility Act. There is, you know, the WCAG2. So we all need to comply in terms of accessibility. Our apps, our websites have to comply with this European Accessibility Act, which we comply, okay? And in Portugal, we have the Prevención del Blanqueamiento de Capitais, the Financiamiento del Terrorismo for the banking, and also for the gaming industry. We don't want minor people, underage people to do gaming. So this is also happening in many, many countries. A regulation to avoid underage people to do gaming. So how is the competitive landscape? Just something that we are a little bit proud of to say, because you know in our market is full of vendors. We have more than 300 competitors out there. Just last month, Gartner published the Magic Quadrant on digital identity, and we are one of the 11th players out of these 300, okay? We've been marked as visionaries. I remember one company that was marked as visionary, I think 20 years ago, and now it's one of the big leaders, which was Salesforce, in another industry. But in here also, most of our rivals, or these 11 rivals, are assemblers. They use third-party technologies and they stitch it together to provide a solution. We had a clear vision that we needed to build the technology, and that's our main DNA. We want to deliver customer solutions with our own technology in order to provide the best solution. So that's why we think that we are very, very prepared and well prepared for these regulatory tsunamis, for the new identity paradigms, and this AI-driven fraud arms race, okay? So for us, we think that we have a clear path that owning the technology is the only way to win. So if you are a technology company, you have to own the tech. If you are a core company, you have to own part of the car. Otherwise, you are an assembler and you don't have the power to adapt and to the new realities and to provide a good service. Well, within 8 years in the front lines, we will not assemble. We have trusted. We have over 500 million transactions so far. We are very happy with what we are doing. We are very happy what we are also building here in Portugal. And nothing more. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you enjoyed the afternoon.